Hello everyone! So today I'm going to be trying out a new video for my channel. It's going to be hopefully one that I try to do a little bit more now that I've gotten my foot in the door with these. But this is going to be the top 5 skill units in Naruto Blazing. For those of you who don't know what skill is, it's the green ones. It's okay. Not everybody knows. It's the green ones. You're welcome. It's a little bit controversial because he's super old and his abilities are kind of janky. And there's a couple units I did consider putting over him on this list, especially Obito. I was weighing between the two really hard. But Sasuke won out. I'm going to go through why he won out and why I think he's just good enough to eke on this list the way he is right now. So he limit breaks to 150 instead of 100, level-wise I mean. And that's a lot of investment for a character. But Sasuke has really great limit broken stats. He has huge HP, he has huge strength. Mine's only 135, and you can see that he's over 2,000 in both. That's really good, even by modern standards. Here's the part where he starts to get a little bit worse, is that his stats are kind of the only really good thing about him. So his buddy skill reduces the chance of receiving slip damage by 25%, which nobody cares. And his field skill is a counterattack, which is super common. A ton of people have it by now. Sasuke has a decent one because his stats are so good, but, I mean, it's nothing special. His ninjutsu, his basic jutsu is actually pretty good. The fireball, it's a 1.8 times attack toward everyone in range, so it's an AoE attack. It's a 40% chance of slip damage, but this, whatever, you know, it's not that great. You can see with his ability right here, this little skull guy right here, he actually gets 10% higher rate to do it. But, again, 50% chance of slip damage for 5 turns, nobody cares. What is good about it, you see that he has this little chakra required, he's got 4 chakra required. That means that in the Phantom Castle, you actually start with Sasuke's jutsu on the first turn, you're able to just do it right away. And it does a ton of hits, I think it does 13 hits on just a single target. And for those of you who don't know, when you get 15 hits, all of your active characters get an additional chakra added to their gauge. So Sasuke is one of the best batteries in the game, who's able to put out a lot of hits on very few targets, and he's able to do it for decent damage just because his stats are as good as they are. His ultimate is the Sharingan, and it's the shittiest ultimate in the game, and you're never going to use it, and it's complete bullshit that they thought a 50% attack bonus was good enough for an ultimate jutsu. It's fucking trash. And that's really all there is to Sasuke. I know it's not a very exciting early entry. I mean, he's got a couple crit bonuses. This is a combination crit bonus, so he's got a 1.75 times higher crit rate when he's comboing attacking with other people. This is the slip damage. This is a solo crit rate boost, which is actually a pretty good ability to have, but it's one of the only ones that's super great. A substitution jutsu is a 5% chance of dodging just a regular attack. I think it can dodge jutsu as well, but, I mean, 5% chance, great. It's not even close to reliable. And this is a combination attack boost, a 1.1 time increase to his attack stat, only when he's attacking with other people. And he's a short range, so he's not going to be attacking with other people all that often. The main reason that he's on this list over Obito is just the fact that his fireball jutsu is super great for the Phantom Castle, and it's decent at clearing mobs in the regular field, and it's good at supplying chakra to guys like Jiraiya, Minato, CM2 Sasuke, who doesn't actually need chakra supplied to him, but whatever, if you use Chidori Lament for some reason, you might want it. He's just a good battery, and there's not that many of those in this game, so that's good enough to get him number 5.
Fire style! Fireball jutsu! You can't escape!
Okay, so number 4 is Sasori, who is a unit I'm actually really excited to talk about, so this might be a better entry. His stats are incredible. He's got 1848 attack, which is actually, I guess I shouldn't say incredible, because this past limit break class just blew up the world when it comes to stats. They're absolutely ridiculous. But 1848 attack and 1692 health is actually still really good. Very solid stats. Unfortunately, he's only short range. He kind of came out during that period where if you had over 1500 attack and you weren't a limit break unit, you were always short range. It just was guaranteed. But still, it's not that big of a deal. The only thing that annoys me about his range is the fact that his puppet can actually be touching enemies and still not hit them. Just because, I guess, his sprite is so big, and his hitbox isn't that big, but still, really good unit. Let's go over to his skills. Buddy skill is a flat 15% damage reduction, which is pretty nice to have. 15% is not making or breaking the world, but it's a much better buddy skill than most of the ones in the game. It's consistent. It lets you bring Sasori to pretty much anything if you want to have him. I know most raids you're usually not going to have like a universal team, because you can easily just stack one color and do okay. But still, very good buddy skill. Field skill is reducing the chance of immobilization. Not a super big deal, but I guess it could save you sometimes. Decent in Phantom Castle. Actually, fun fact, if you're fighting Jiraiya, but otherwise it's not going to be a super huge deal. Now the ninjutsu is where this guy is crazy. So he's got the Iron Sand Senbon for 5 chakra. It's a 4 times AoE attack, which is a great multiplier for an AoE. It's crazy strong. Hits all the enemies in range, and a 60% chance of slip damage for 5 turns. So especially, he's a great single-player unit clearer when you're trying to get through the level, but in Phantom Castle, Sasori just melts enemy teams. I mean, you're talking about, I believe he does about 7.8 or 7.9k with this super. So much damage. And it completely melts enemy teams. It melts little regular units too, but not quite as good as you're going to get out of Phantom Castle. And then you've got the Iron Sand Unleash, which is his ultimate jutsu. It's exactly his original jutsu times 2. So it's an interesting thing about Sasori is that you never really have to save off his ultimate if you don't want to, because using his normal jutsu 2 times is the same as using his ultimate. So it's pretty much win-win when you can just jutsu whenever you need to do it. But his Iron Sand Unleashed is crazy strong. 8-time multiplier is still pretty good now. It's not that good because a lot of units are starting to come out with, 9 times, 10 times, all that stuff. But 8 times is still super strong. It's good for him all around. Let's look at his abilities up here, because I wanted to talk about a little bit of tech that Sasori brings. Sasori's slip damage is strong. He does a ton of slip, and his percentages to apply it is huge. So what you can do with Sasori is use his buddy skill to reduce damage in heavy raids, and then just ping the enemy for some slip. Slip damage is super underrated in this game. It's not like the greatest thing in the world. It's not immobilization that's giving you free turns. It's not jutsu stealing. But it's really useful against especially higher level raids where enemies have a ton of health. And Sasori has 3 abilities that allow him to increase the amount of slip damage that he's giving. So that's a 30% application buff to 60%, so his first jutsu becomes a 90%, and his second jutsu becomes also 90% chance to apply that slip damage, which is super good. And his other 2 abilities just reduce general damage, which is also nice to have. It's an additional 10% damage reduction just if he gets hit. 10%'s not breaking the world, but it doesn't hurt him. All in all, he's a super solid unit. He's a Phantom Castle killer. He's a great unit both for clearing enemy mobs, and he's a great unit for fighting the boss. There's really nothing super bad about this card, other than the card unit. I don't know what you call them in Naruto. Is it cards or units? Whatever. There's nothing super bad about this unit, other than the fact that he's just starting to show age a tiny bit, because the meta in this game evolves super fast. I mean, there's already all these units that outdo him in multipliers, but when he came out, his multipliers were nuts. So, I mean, he's aging a tiny bit, but all in all, he is spectacular still, and he's definitely worth using for most anything.
Not going anywhere! Take this! Behold my power. This is fun.
Okay, next up at number 3 is Shippuden Sakura. Debatably the best healer in the game. Certainly the best healer in regards to her actual function as a healer. Her heal is stronger than Rin. It's decently close to Tsunade's max output, and the range on it is massive, so it's super safe. But her other stats leave a little bit to be desired. We'll go through it. Her strength is 1562, which is decent for a mid-range unit. It's not crazy, but it's about as good as Hiruzen, It's not bad. Her health is only 1254, which isn't very good, but she's a healer, so what are you going to do about it? Her skills, her field skill is reduces the chance of receiving immobilization. I don't know why they keep doing this. I'll talk about it later, actually. But, I mean, that's not that great. But her buddy skill is a 150 HP recovery, which is very good. It's close to about, I think that's the highest HP recovery. I think that's just what 6 stars get for HP recovery buddy skills. So it's certainly good. Her ninjutsu, the Palm Sage Jutsu is the one that you care about. 3150 health for one ally in range, and it's long range. So you can stand most anywhere and get a heal off, which means that unlike Tsunade or even Rin, Tsunade has to stack the entire party together. Rin has to stack one person, so it's not as bad. But you're opening yourself up to a lot of additional damage if you have to heal or you heal badly. You're going to get blown up. For Sakura, you can pretty much heal wherever you want, and there's no risk at all. Her ultimate is called Cherry Blossom Crash, which is super exciting. But it sucks, kind of. I guess it doesn't suck, it's just not that good. It's a 5 times attack toward all enemies in range, but it's that annoying cone range, like Rasengan or... I'm trying to think who else has it. Tsunade. It's the same range as Tsunade's ultimate. Ooh, low battery, I should plug in. It's the same range as Tsunade's ultimate. It's an AoE, but you're not going to hit that many enemies with it because of its range. It's only 5 times, which is incredibly low for an ultimate. I mean, she's a healer, I guess, but you're not going to use this unless you're killing the boss with it anyway. So she's pretty much a pure healer. And so in that regard, I would say she's the best healer. Rin and Tsunade are not pure healers, though, so they have some edges over her in other areas. Let's check these abilities real quick. Health recovers with map movement. Restores 300 health when moving on the map. Fine. Critical rate boost by 1.5 times. That's actually pretty good because, I mean, 1562 is not awful. Sakura can contribute and fight, just not with the jutsu. So a critical rate boost is pretty good. Another health recovery with map movement. 300 more health when moving on the map. I might be a complete idiot and make a fool out of myself here, but I'm pretty sure these skills only trigger when moving from map 1 to map 2 and map 2 to map 3. So that pretty much means even with both of these abilities, you're only getting about 1800 HP back total from it. I mean, that's a decent amount, but not enough to write home about. Hey, another crit. Great. Okay, let's talk about this. Come on. Immobilization rate boosts her rate of immobilization by 10%. So right here, her ultimate is a 50% chance of immobilization. So this is going to bump it to 60%. So not only is that still not a super high percent when you compare her to someone like Jiraiya or Neji, who much more consistent at actually immobilizing, you got to use 2 heals to do it. So that last skill is... maybe if you're super desperate and her heal won't save you, you have to fall back on that or something, but I don't see any way that that's useful. Sakura, I mean, I'll be completely honest. If she wasn't a healer, nothing else about her would be incredibly appealing. But she's the best standalone healer in the game, which makes her incredibly valuable. Skill has another healer. She's not the only one, but it's Kabuto, who is decent. He's decent. But Sakura is... man, I'm struggling to find nice things to say about her, and she's number 3 on the list. Sakura's a good unit. Her ultimate is very average, and you're not going to use it. But she has a really cheap heal. She's a 4 chakra heal for almost 3200 health, and the range on it is massive. You'll see the range when I show her jutsu in a minute. She's super good. I'm not super excited about it, so I'm making kind of a crappy entry on her. But she's one of the best characters in the game, if you value her healing as much as a lot of people do. I don't know that I do that much because of the prevalence of Jiraiya and your ability to just stall forever while you slowly build all your health back up with Jiraiya. But I would say that Sakura is the best safety net in the game. If something bad happens and you're all of a sudden staring death in the face, Sakura is one of the very few units that can pull you out of that without a whole lot of risk to herself, which is very good, in my opinion. So that's why she comes in at number 3, even though I think that she doesn't have a whole lot going for her other than that. That's such a valuable thing to have that it's enough for me.
Better treat these wounds. This should do it. How about it?
It's Sasuke. Number 2 is Shippuden Sasuke. Oh my god, I'm super excited. This card is my fucking son. I'm sorry, this is like my second favorite card in the game, so he's number 2 on the list for more reasons than that, I promise. His stats are really good. He's got 1752, which you will recognize as almost as much as Sasori has, but he's a mid-range unit, so he hits really hard for a mid-range. That's about as much as a fully limit-broken Kakashi has. His health is only 1052, which is god-awful, actually, but it's not that big of a deal. I mean, the entire team has all of their health pulled together, so one guy's health is not making or breaking anything. His skills, his field skill is an 80 to 160 flat attack boost, which is great. Really good field skill to set up good combos. Characters like Rock Lee or Naruto or anyone, really. His buddy skill is a 2.25 crit rate boost. Crit rate boosts are good. I don't know how much they're really going to affect battle, it's all luck. But the big thing is that field skill, where if someone buddies up real close to Sasuke on the map, their damage output is going to go through the roof really fast if they start using jutsus. His ninjutsu, really good, also really good. Chidori's stream is a 3.25, it's actually 3.5 attack toward all enemies in range. It's a mid-range circle around Sasuke's body. It just looks like a regular mid-range attack field. But it's only 4 chakra and it's 5 hits. So if you manage to hit an entire enemy team, like 3 Phantom Castle enemies, for example, you're going to get the 15 hit chakra bonus for your party from it. And 4 chakra is incredibly cheap for a 3.5 times AoE. I can't even think of any other AoEs that powerful that are that cheap. I mean, the best multiplier, I think, for a first jutsu is Minato's 4.8, but that's on a single target. So Chidori's stream pumps out a lot of damage for not a whole lot of chakra. His ultimate jutsu is the Chidori True Spear, a 10-time attack toward one enemy. Really strong. I think it's tied for the second best multiplier. You don't quote me on that. I know Minato has 11 times, and I know Fox Naruto gets a ridiculous multiplier only against wisdom enemies. But I think as a flat, unconditional multiplier, the second best is 10 times, which Sasuke and Deidara have. Does Fox Naruto have 10? I don't know. I didn't fact check my bravery before this. But, so Sasuke's damage output is incredible. He's mid-range, super consistent unit. He buffs your other allies' attack power. Let's talk about his abilities now. He's got a really good set of abilities, actually. This guy right here is just a flat attack boost. It's 100 attack points. So that's going to bring his base attack up to 1852, which is about as strong as Sasori, just straight out. It's like less than 100 difference off Sasori. You've got a health boost, 100 health. Not a big deal, whatever. But then you've got 2 crit rate boosts and another attack boost all down here. So Sasuke's abilities are amazing for a damage dealer. He's got great multipliers. He's got cheap jutsu. Got pretty good range all in all. This is easily one of the better cards in the game. I don't want to say one of the best because I know that's going to irk people. But he's easily one of the best cards. I just did it. See? I just did it. He's easily one of the better cards in the game. And anyone would be lucky to pull this guy. Like me. I pulled him the other day. And I've been gushing ever since. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter or not. But I've literally been gushing ever since that I pulled this card. This is one of the cards I've been chasing since the day he came out. And he's completely worth it. Absolute monster card. And his jutsu looks really cool. You'll get to see it in a second. And it's pretty awesome.
Can't get away! Chidori Street! Let's do this! Scatter! Chidori True Spear!
Hey, number 1 is Neji. Giant surprise to nobody. This guy started to fall off a tiny bit, just the tiniest bit, and then they were like, well, we can't have that. We gotta have Neji be really good still. So they just buffed the ever-loving shit out of him with a limit break. So, mine's only level 120, so you can't see how ridiculous it is exactly. But at level 150, I'm pretty sure he has over 2400 attack without pills. So he's about as strong as Fox Naruto is in terms of regular attacks without pills. He's got a killer set of abilities, but we'll come back to those later. Let's go ahead and look at his skills. His field skill is a counter. It's just like Sasuke's, and it actually hits about as hard as Sasuke's because of they have similar stats. I think Sasuke has about 2.4 after limit break as well. His buddy skill is reducing body elemental damage by 20%. It's decent for single type raids, just when you want to hurry up and burn through a body type boss for, I don't know, Tobirama, whatever, Sai, the deadly Sai. It's not a big deal, I guess. It's a nice skill to have, but since at this point we've kind of hit the point where you don't necessarily need to stack color, it's not super wonderful. His jutsu. This is another thing where this guy absolutely shines. 5 chakra for the 8 trigrams palm rotation. It's a 1.5 times attack, which is garbage. It's super weak. But it's a 70% chance of immobilization, which is tied with, I think, the second best rate. I really should fact check this stuff more often. But with his abilities up here, his very first ability is an immobilization rate boost, which bumps him up to 80%, which I think is second only to a 4-star Shikamaru, which has an 85% chance. So he's a 6-star with 2400 attack, and he has an 80% chance of immobilization, and it's a mid-range jutsu, so it's decent. It's a decent hitbox. It's about the same range as Chidori's Stream. His additional abilities, he gets 2 attack boosts, that's 200 more attack. He has a lowered chance of receiving counters by 15%, which, I mean, whatever. And he has a higher rate of jutsu sealing, which goes down here with his Gentle Fists 8 trigrams. It's a 6.8 attack multiplier, not super great, but not unusable. He still hits pretty hard because his stats are so good. It's a single target attack, and it's got the same generic Tsunade Rasengan range, the little cone. And has a 40% chance of jutsu sealing for 5 turns. It's a good duration, it's a bad rate. Even with the ability, that's only a 50% chance to seal. But still, I mean, if you don't need the immobilization, why not? What's really great about this guy, though, what truly puts him above the rest, is that he holds the award for the single worst voice line I've ever heard in a video game, ever. Literally, in all time. They had like 10 seconds to run his little poke animation for his stupid-ass trigram fists, and this guy, they made this guy read like 15 lines, and he just mashed all that shit together into this incomprehensible mess that just assaults you every time you use this guy. I'm really excited for his jutsu showcase, so you can see just how absolutely god-awful the sound in this game is. It's the worst example of poorly put-together sound design I have ever seen, and that's really what matters, I think. That's what truly puts him above the rest. It's not the fact that his stats... Oh my god, what did I just do? Come back, Neji. It's not the fact that his stats are just ludicrously high for his level. And he's a short ranger with almost 2500 attack. Nope, it's not that. It's not the fact that he counters and he does an ass ton of damage when he counters because he has 2500 attack. Nope. No. It's not the fact that he has an 80% jutsu for immobilization. One of the best rates in the game. He's a complete raid saver. You're about to die, he is one of the only units in the entire game I would want to turn to save you in that moment. But nope, it's all this goddamn voice line. I'm just gonna put it on. I'm gonna play it through his whole thing, and you all just need to experience the beauty that is Neji's ultimate jutsu. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. That was my first attempt at a list, so sorry if it came off a little bit forced. I didn't actually script this before I started talking because I figured it would be easier just to try to find a little bit of a flow. So I kind of stuttered a bit, bounced a bit, but all in all, I think it was fun. I'm going to do some more of these as time comes by. I want to try and do them for Dokkan too, but it's kind of hard because then you have to do it for each individual team, and then you get into like... Oh, who's really one slot better on Int? Is it Janemba or is it... it's a whole mess in Dokkan. I'll probably get around to doing it. But it's a little bit more fun to do in Blazing right now because Blazing units have so much to talk about. They have, they have support, you got healing, you got the awesome abilities, attack ranges. There's a lot going on in this game that makes it a lot of fun to talk about. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope y'all had fun. I hope y'all enjoyed that Neji line. It's the worst shit ever. Think about if I make an intro. If I ever make an intro to my videos, I think it's just gonna be Neji doing 64 palms for like 30 seconds, just on loop. It's gonna be my new my new YouTube intro. So look forward to that. See you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.
2 palms, 16, 32 palms, 64 palms.